can read English together. Chapter 4, Vrindavan Mahimamrita, verse 80-81. O Shri Vrindavan, everybody, everyone together. O Shri Vrindavan, I am now very fortunate. I have become the object of your invaluable mercy. You have given me the permission to reside within your boundaries, a permission that is prayed for by Lord Brahma, Sukadeva Goswami and Sanat Kumar and others. This greatest of gifts gives me hope that someday I will directly serve the splendid, charming, eternally youthful, amorous, fair and dark divine couple Radha Shyam. O Shri Vrindavan, you are more affectionate than millions of mothers. Your supremely wonderful transcendental glories are forever recalled by Lakshmi, Shiva, and a host of great souls. Yes, it is true that you have now appeared before my eyes, and you have granted me Brajavas, which is sought by the most advanced devotees. But why do you now hesitate to allow me to serve the Rasik Janas that live within your boundaries? So I put, this is chapter 13, verse 45, Shalini Chandas, or meter. And there's a comma there. You see the comma after Punyam. So we went over this the other day. I'll just review it once again quickly. You can listen. Punyat punyam, mangalam mangalanam, divya divyam, kamadam kamadanam. Like this, okay? This is called Shalini meter. Together. Punyat punyam, mangalam mangalanam, divya divyam, kamadam kamadanam, sarat saram, premadam premadhanam, anyad brinda, Ranyato manyatam ka. I'll read the translation. Vrajadam is the most sacred of all sacred places, the most auspicious of all auspicious things, the most splendid and transcendental of all that is splendid and transcendental. And Braj is the greatest desire-fulfilling philanthropist of all desiring fulfilling philanthropists. Not only is Vrindavan greater than the greatest of they who know divine love, of they who bestow divine love, but she is the greatest giver of transcendental love. Is there any place other than Sridham Vrindavan that can be thought of in this way? And this is Brahma Samhita with a little variation that I do. You know that one? Nanyat padami nashrinomi chait. This like this, a little different, a little softer edges. 17:105. Nanyat padami nashrinomi no chintayami, nanyat brajami na bhajami na cha ashrayami, pashyami jagrati tata sapnapina nanyat Shiradi rati vinoda vinam vinaham. I will not speak, hear, or think of anything else. I will not speak, worship, or take shelter of anything else, either awake or in dreams. I do not see anything but the forest where Sri Radha enjoys pastimes. Sridham Vrindavan. This is verse 16:1. This is Shardula Vikriditam. Is the name of this chandas or meter, and it's like 6 Goswami prayers. Radha Vakta Saroja Divyumarapam, Radha Drisho Ranjanam, Radha Vakshasi Divya Nilavasanam, Radha Mana Shrinkalam, Radha Nabhisudasara Kuvalayam, Radha Padashi Naken, Dunam Lachanameva Vanchatavane, Radhaka Kela Mrigam. Hey Sarakas, hanker after Sham, who is the clever bumblebee hovering around the lotus flower of Radhika's sweet mouth. He is a black mascara bordering Kishori's lotus eyes. Sham is the splendid blue chunari covering Radha's breasts. Sham is the chain binding Radha's heart and mind, Manashinkalam. And Sham is the blue lotus growing in a nectar lake of Radha's navel, Nabi Surasara Kuvalayam. And Sham is the deer mark on the moons of Rasheshwari's effulgent toenails. This is 12, 25, and 26. This is Malini. And it goes da 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 like this. Madhura Madhura Nana Pushpa Sora. You see the break, the comma? See the comma? You know what comma is?
Yes, we watch.
There's 3 words and comma, then 3 words, something like that. Madhura Madhura Nana Pushpa Saurabhya Labhyam Madhura Madhura Bringa Shreni Jankara Ramyam Madhura Madhura Gayat Kokilam Shadi Kirer Madhura I take shelter of the most charming forest of Vrindavan, which delights with the humming of joyous bees, maddened by the sweet fragrances of exotic tropical flowers. The attractive poetic singing of excited parrots and cuckoos saturates the love groves, wherein Radhika tightly embraces her life and soul. Again, this is Malini. Madhura Madhura Radha Kinkari Klipta Shayam Madhura Madhura Radha Krishna Keli Nikunjam Madhura Madhura Tat Premon Madandali Vrindam Madhura Madhura Brinda Ramyan Rivashrayotmi Ivashritosmi. And the attractive kunjas of Braja, Radhika's Sakhis prepare comfortable flower beds for the amorous pleasures of Radha Madhav. Absorbed in the sports of their mistress and their master and mistress, Radha's delightful Sakhis become blinded by the intoxication of pure love divine. I take shelter of this most charming forest of Vrindavan. This is chapter 9, verse 45. Malini, again. Jayati Jayati Radha Prema Sharir Agadha Jayati Jayati Krishnas Tad Rasapara Trishna Jayati Jayati Brindam Satsakinam Tvayakam Jayati Jayati Brinda Karanam Tat Sadamam. All glories to Radha, the essence of the fathomless ocean of pure love. And all glories to her dearest Sham, who is ever thirsty to drink the honey nectar of her company. All glories to the Sakhi Manjaris, who unite them in the kunjas. All glories to Sridham Vrindavan, the matchless abode of the divine couple. This is chapter 17, verse 123 and 124. Namostu Vrindavana Sundarabhyam, Namostu Vrindavana Vibramabhyam, Namostu Vrindavana Jivanabhyam, Namostu Vrindavana Nagarabhyam. I constantly offer my obeisances unto the divine couple, who are the most beautiful persons in Vrindavan. I offer my obeisances unto Radha Sham, who are bewildered by ecstatic love for each other. I offer my obeisances unto Radhika Sham, who are famous as the very life and soul of the Brijvasis. I offer my obeisances unto Radha Govinda, who always enjoy conjugal pastimes in Vrindavan. Namostu Vrindavana Satkriyabhyam, Namostu Vrindavana Sadrasabhyam, Namostu Vrindavana Purnatabhyam, Namostu Vrindavana Gocharabhyam. I forever offer my obeisances to Radha Sham, who are oceans of mercy and a storehouse of eternal pastimes in Vrindavan. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Radha Madhav, who constantly enjoy sweet rasa-filled conjugal pastimes in Vrindavan. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Radha Gopinath, who derive the greatest bliss meandering through the groves of Vrindavan. Chapter 17, verse 84. Yadeva satchit rasarupa buddhir Vrindavanasta stira jangameshu satnirvalikam purushastadeva chakanti radha priyasevi rupa. When one understands that all the animate and inanimate entities of Sri Brajadam have eternal forms of spiritual nectar, then and only then he attains the form of a dear maidservant of Radha, Radha Priya Sevi Rupa. Vrindavan Mahimamrita Ki Jai. So we're continuing second class describing Nam Rup Gun Lila, the Nam Mahima of Vrindavan. This name, Vrindavan, Vrindavan, or Vrindavan or Vrindavan, both are correct. And the popular one is Vrindavan. It's approved by all the rickshawalas and tempo drivers and other pundits. If someone chants the name of Vrindavan, Maya runs away. So if Maya is approaching you, then you say, Vrindavan, 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 Guru, Guru, Jai Guru, Shri Guru, Jai Guru. Wow, that was close. I almost went to hell. I call out the name of Vrindavan. I was saved from going to hell because Maya means go to hell, right? Amaya. Maya says, come, it's sweet, it's fun, go to hell. Come go to hell with me. I'll give you a free ride, free ticket. One way. From hell, from here to hell, eternally. So this is text 44 of chapter 3. Muktir yati yato bahira bahira ho sam marjani gatatas. Trustas tavara siddhyo vidate kakvadi yat sevitum. Yan nam neva vidur agapi vilayam mayapi yayadaho. Tad vrindavanam atiyachintya mahima dehantaram ashriyatam. Dehantam mahima. The Chintya Mahima. Just see the inconceivable potency and glories of this shelter in Vrindavan. Just take shelter, says Prabodhananda Saraswati, of that most glorious and inconceivable Vrindavan, from which liberation runs away after being hit with a broom. Liberation runs away. Liberation comes here when you're doing your Jaro Seva Kunj and sweeping the Kunja gullies and Prem Gully and Dan Gully and Man Gully of the Leela Stalis of Braj, and Mukti says, come, I'll give you cities, Anima city, Prapti city, any kind of Mukti. Come with me, come. Boom! you take your Jaro and smack her. Mukti Devi, Jao. Jao Mukti. For Gaudiyas, Mukti is Maya. And for the other Vaishnavas, Mukti is perfection. Sarupya Mukti, Salokya Mukti, Sharsti Mukti, Samipya Mukti. That's the perfection of Vaishnavism. Ram Bhakta, Vishnu Bhakta, they want Mukti. Rama Yodya Mukti. Yodya Mukti, Ram, association of Ram. But we, Nadanana Janana Sundaram Kavitam Va Jagadishake Mama Janmani Janmeshri Bhavatad Bhakti Hoitaki. In Vrindavan, in the mental Vrindavan, in the physical Vrindavan, the metaphysical Vrindavan, and the Bhoma Vrindavan, Nitya Vrindavan, Aprakrita Vrindavan, the Prakrita Vrindavan, the Gaudiya only wants to be there, serving Radha, with this other person named Sham. Radhe 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 Sham Radhe 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 Sham Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe 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 Shyam.
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe.
Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Krishna Jaya Krishna Jai Sri Krishna.
Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Radhe Shyam Jai Radhe Shyam Jai Radhe 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 Shyam Jai Radhe Shyam Jai Radhe Jai Radhe 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 Shyam. Liberation runs away after being hit with a broom. I don't know what the Sanskrit is for that, but samarjini. Samarjini means that says mukti muti yati yato bahir bahir. Oh, samarjini gatatas. She goes far, far away. She goes very far away. Yati, she runs. Mukti. With the samarjini, in Mandir Marjananda, you clean the temple with the broom, water and a broom and your own cloth, like Lord Chaitanya and Gundicha Marjan. They were brooming and throwing water. So that broom they're using to seva, Dham seva, then you chase away mukti. Oh, she runs far, far away. From whom the 8 mystic perfections eagerly wait to serve, and the sound of whose name vanquishes the illusory energy. Vrindavan! Vrindavan! The name of Vrindavan vanquishes the illusory energy. It's very interesting how in Vrindavan the 8 mystic perfections are eagerly waiting to serve the devotees. It says, this verse in Krishna Karnamrita, Mukti Mukalitam, Mukalitanjali Sevatesman. Now for the devotees, Mukti and all the cities that go with it, they're waiting with folded hands to serve the devotees. And there's an example of this. I just heard this morning that when devotees, there's 2 things. There's 2 powers that a devotee gets, mystic power. One is Vag Siddhi. If a devotee never lies, which is maybe difficult for some group of devotees, but consequently they don't get Vag Siddhi. But devotees, let's say, technically are supposed to always speak the truth and represent and live the truth and spread the truth and realize the truth and see the truth and love the truth, serve the truth eternally in loving relationship. They get this power just because they speak the truth. They get Vag Siddhi because they speak frankly. They don't care about politics and diplomacy. As it is. Prabhupada spoke frankly, the Bhagavad Gita as it is. He didn't try to get a popular following like some other people that use Bhagavad Gita to increase their own name and fame. And tell it as it isn't, or as it was never. Bhagavad Gita as it never was, by Swami Bhogananda. Bhagavad Gita as it never was, by Swami Bhogananda. But the point is that the devotee, he speaks as it is, and he gets his power. Now here's another interesting thing that because it says all mystic perfections, especially in Vrindavan. A devotee, a very interesting characteristic of a devotee is free from greed. I heard an explanation of this. That why, this is a proof how it says in Krishna Karnamrita. So this is an example, because we hear in Karnamrita, and Prabhupada said, 8 mystic perfections wait to serve the devotee. And someone thinks, well, that means Siddha Mahatmas and the most perfect, pure devotees, they have power. I heard a description that even any serious sadhaka, even a madhyamadikari, let's hope, or even a kanishta can be, if he's actually free from greed, he has no greed, which is, of course that's a characteristic of a pure devotee, but even a sadhaka or a madhyam or someone who's sincerely and honestly practicing Krishna consciousness, he can be free from greed. It's not out of the question. And he gets reciprocation from the Lord because the Lord is the source of all Shaktis. Prasya Shakti Vividaya Shriyate. Sabhavaki Gana Balakriyacha. So Ashtasiddhis, all these things are nothing. When Krishna sees that a devotee is actually free from greed, and what is the symptom of being free from greed? Nadana Najanana Sundaram. He doesn't want greed for promotion in next life. He doesn't want greed for enjoyment of this life. He doesn't have mental greed. He doesn't have mental greed for pratishtha. That's the type of mental greed. Thinking, mental greed where one wants pratishtha, honor, distinction, be the best, be recognized. And he doesn't have physical or sensual greed for more enjoyment. He takes his quota, exactly his quota, and never exceeds his quota. Because he understands that this is what God has sent me. So he gets a very special power. And maybe some devotees that are very pure-hearted, maybe not necessarily Mahabhagavats and all that, but they're very pure-hearted and free from greed, they regularly experience this, although they're not aware of it, but they regularly experience this event, this phenomenon in their lives, which they attribute to, quote-unquote, coincidence, or quote-unquote, well, it's Krishna's mercy, oh, it just by chance, oh, it just happened that way. But actually, it's a blessing from the Lord, where if a devotee is free from greed, he gets a very powerful mystic city. It's called Kamavasita. Whatever he desires, he can get. This is a big mystic power. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he was riding on the train with one disciple. This disciple's name was Paramananda Das. And Paramananda Das was the youngest personal servant of Bhaktisiddhanta. They were traveling on the train. And Paramananda says, "Oh, Guru Maharaj, I'm very hungry. I want to get some halava." So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, it's not so much usually available at train stops. It's usually chips and puris, sabji puri, sabji puri, sabji puri, sabji puri, sabji puri. They say like this. I've heard. So I traveled all over India, from 86 and 87 on thousands of trains and no reservation on a little metal box. I used to sit on the metal box by the toilets. That was my seat. I could stand out and I made it. That box I just gave to one devotee. So now, it's unlikely, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, well, let's try, like a father looking after his disciple. Let's try. At the next stop, we'll get down, we'll try to find some halava parmalan, just relax. He's like a young devotee. At the same time with Bhaktisiddhanta, there was one yogi. So then that yogi, he came and he was across the aisle and just heard, he said, oh, your shishya is hungry, you want some halava? He said, yes. So he put his hand out the window like this, while the train was moving it hasn't gotten to the next stop yet. He put his hand out the window and he pulled it in. It was a big plate of hot halava. And he handed it, this is Bhaktisiddhanta's memoirs. So he handed it to his disciple and said, here, Krishna has fulfilled your desire. So that's an example of a yogi. He was a yogi that was traveling in the same train, the same time as Bhaktisiddhanta. So you can say it was Bhaktisiddhanta's arrangement to display his mystic power, but so his disciple wouldn't get enamored and catapult him into siddhahood of Sai Babahood. He made the arrangement through some other person's hand. We can't say, but this is the story it was told. So this is an example of Kamavayasita, getting whatever you desire, you can get. And Srila Prabhupada tells the story in a Lilamrita when he was a child in Calcutta. His father used to serve so many sadhus, invite them to the house. And the boy, Abai, would also be there, and he was so, cute and big-eyed and bright-faced and golden colors. So the sadhus were very attractive to him because he was himself so attractive and so pure, perfectly pure. So they would often interact with Abai, and they said, "Oh, Abai, you hungry? He said, "You want some fruits?" "Yes, I want some fruits." He said, "What kind of fruits you have in your kitchen?" They said, "Bananas and mosambi and like this." So you have any pomegranates? He said, no. He says, Abba, you like pomegranates? And he said, yes. And he said, what are your favorite type of pomegranate? And Abba said, well, occasionally there comes to Calcutta some pomegranates from Kabul. Kabul, I think, is Afghanistan. Afghanistan. They're very red and very sweet and juicy, very tasty. Sometimes we get in Calcutta by trading, and my father buys. Acha. All right, you go in the dining room and you take some. So I'm probably walked in the dining room. There was a branch. There's a whole branch of a tree with about 5, 10, freshly cracked branch of a tree with 5 or 10 ripe pomegranates sitting on the dining room table. And Abhay ran out to his father, Papa, look, pomegranate. And the yogi just smiled. So these are 2 examples of yogis displaying this power of getting whatever they desire. Now I'll give you an example of a devotee. And any sincere devotee who is actually free from greed. What I'm saying is, if a devotee is actually free from greed, then whatever he desires, Krishna will give him in this very life, whatever he wants. So of course he has to be careful, but because he's free from greed, he won't desire anything material. He only desires things for Krishna's service. So here's an example. My godbrother, I heard him tell this in one of his lectures, Bhakti Swami, I think you're all familiar with him. And he was explaining how he was cooking for Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, in the morning, go to the market and buy some Karela and some radish and some palak and these things. So he bought those sabjis and he came back, and then when he returned, Prabhupada said, so did you get those sabjis? You got the radish? And he said, yes. And then he said, you have the Karela? And when he said Karela, then at that point Bhakti Swami realized, oh, actually I forgot the Karela. But he was afraid to disappoint his guru. So yes, Guru Maharaj, I have all the sabjis. It was kind of a lie, but he didn't want to disappoint. So then right after that, right after he said that, Prabhupada said, well, bring them in. I'd like to show you how to cut them. Now, this is a little bit of a little touchy, because he's supposed to bring them in the kitchen and Prabhupada's bedroom. They're only in the same house in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Temple, Prabhupada's house. They're right near each other. So Bhakti Chu went in the kitchen, and of course there's nothing there. So adjoining Prabhupada's room, around the back actually, out the back door in the garden, there's a door that goes into the kitchen of the guest house, Krishna Balaram guest house, because they used to cook there and bring to Prabhupada sometimes, the food also. So Bhakti Swami ran in the kitchen, looked all around, he couldn't find the Karela. There just wasn't any around, and there wasn't any in the temple kitchen or anything, because they don't even cook that type of thing in the temple. So then he found some brahmachari. He said, quick, go down to Loy Bazaar, get some Karela, come back super fast. I'll try to, we'll start cutting the other vegetables, and I'll save that to last, or somehow save the day. So he runs off. And to buy the Karela, and then he comes back. And then Bhakti True, because he didn't want to be standing by the kitchen, because then he thought Prabhupada's going to say, Bhakti Charo, bring the sabji. So then he deliberately wasn't there, so he had time to stall, because Prabhupada would bring it in. So he went out the back door. He didn't come back for one time. So Prabhupada maybe called, but he didn't come. We don't know that part of the story. But he kind of dropped out of sight. So then he was waiting by the front gate of the temple, looking down the road towards Utkanti Tabha in great eagerness. When will it come? Where's that rickshaw? There weren't too many rickshaws in those days. It was in 77, and I believe 77 in Vrindavan temple, Krishna Balaram. He was cooking for Prabhupada. So then he came and he said, well, what, you have the Karela? He said, I went everywhere. I went to Banki Bihari market and the main market. There's no Karela anywhere. And Bhakti Ji was, oh, no. Then he was walking back to Prabhupada's house by the Krishna Balaram temple, that sidewalk there, and he was saying, oh, Krishna, oh, Bhagavan, oh, please help me. I can't let down my Guru Maharaj. I don't mind being punished, because I didn't get the sabji, and maybe he'll lie to me, I mean, because I lied to him and he'll punish me. Why did you lie to me? He said you have it and I didn't. I don't mind whatever punishment, but I don't want to disappoint Prabhupada. He likes Corella. He eats it every day. Oh, please, Krishna. He was just praying like this, lost in his hopeless prayers. So then when he came up to, in Prabhupada's house, then he saw a lying, he went by the veranda. There was where was it? Prabhupada's house. But he went somewhere just near the house and he saw lying on the sidewalk a Corella. It was lying there out of nowhere. So he picked it up and he ran back and then, so then he was in the kitchen and Prabhupada said, yeah, bring that. So he brought the sabji. And then he said, and then Prabhupada called out the sabjis. You have the radish? And he held up the radish. You have the palak? And he held up the palak. And then the last thing Prabhupada called was for the 5-6 sabjis that he ordered. Do you have the Corella? And he was, and Bhakti was being very quiet. And yes, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had a big smile on his face, looking at him like, big smile, like when he said everything else, he was just saying, you have this, yeah. Then when he said Corella, Prabhupada had this big smile, and Bhakti was trying to look real sheepish, like, and he understood, Prabhupada knew exactly everything that happened, but he didn't say anything. So this is an example of a devotee having mystic power, because he's free from greed. And then the Lord comes to his aid. And the Lord comes to his aid and helps him, because that's the nature of the loving relationship between the Lord and his devotees, the reciprocal. Then there's a story about how the Lord saves in other words, this is a story of how the Lord saves his devotee in a pinch, personally saves, he personally did that, but that is also a power. And there's a story shows the point that the devotee, the true pure devotee, or let's say genuine devotee, is always freed, is always saved by the Lord. But it's also true that this point I'm making, that if a devotee is free from greed, then whatever he desires, Krishna will arrange. He will give it to him, because he has that power, he has that mystic city, which is one of the most difficult to achieve. Anima city, become lighter than the lightest, heavier than the heaviest. These are not so hard. Even the TM people teach this anima city, float, hopping they call it. You meditate on a cotton swab and your rear end goes off the ground 1 inch. It's called levitation. They call it levitation courses. It's a very popular thing. Make some more money. So, in-flight movies and everything. You fly from one piece of floor to 1 foot to the other side. Boom! At any rate, this kama vayasita, to fulfill your desire, attain whatever you want, is very difficult to attain mystic power by the mystic yoga process. And by bhakti, then mukti mukulitanjali sevate svan. Mukti personified, mukti swayam, mukti devi personified, the goddess of mukti. Mukulitanjali sevate svan. Mukulitanjali, with her hands folded like this, is a mukulitanjali, anjali, mukut, folded like this. How may I serve you? So this is Krishna's blessing for the clear-hearted, pure-minded devotee. So that's one point. Now I'll tell you another story how Krishna saves his devotee, although he goes through a lot of trouble. Once Hanuman and Arjun were having a discussion. And Arjun said to Hanuman, "What is this? You had to carry all those big heavy rocks and throw them on the ocean to make a bridge to Lanka from India, and so much work, And wasn't there any Danors there? Wasn't there any archers there that could have just expert at shooting arrows? They could have made a bridge with arrows. I can do that easily on Gandiva Dhara. It's easy feat. Any good archer can make a bridge with arrows. If an archer of my status, if we're moving in the forest and there's some ravine and you have to cross over, you just shoot arrows, make an instant arrow bridge and walk over the arrow bridge and cross this ravine which drops 3,000 feet into the jungle floor. From mountaintop to mountaintop. Arrow bridge. Then you, by mantra, withdraw the arrows and put them in your quiver. Then as someone's chasing you, they get stuck on the other precipice. The other top of the mountain, they can, he's over there. Bye. So, and he said, and then Hanuman said, Yeah, you think you can do it with arrows? And Ram said, of course. He said, no, arrows aren't going to support the weight of all hundreds, thousands of monkeys and so much weight. How will you support it with arrows? It's not possible. And Arjuna said, look, I'll show you. So then Arjuna went, and he made a bridge all the way from India to Lanka. So he said, he told Hanuman, go ahead, Hanuman, go on the bridge, jump up and down, do whatever you want. So then Hanuman picked up big mountains with his arms, as big as Gandhamadana mountain, and all these mountains he picked up with herbs and everything. Picked up all these big mountains, as much weight as he could carry. He got a big backpack and a rucksack and, a baby pack and a front pack and a shoulder pack and every kind of pack. He packed in all these boulders. Then he went on the bridge of arrows built by Arjuna. Then he started jumping. Boom, boom, boom. And the bridge was going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Almost, but not quite breaking. It didn't break. So then, in this case, Hanuman was defeated by Bhakta Arjuna. Because Hanuman is a Dasya Bhakta. Dasyarati Hanuman ki. But Arjuna is a Saka. Priyosime Sake. He's a Priya Saka of Krishna. So what happened here is that Krishna came to his rescue. The ordinary arrow bridge that Arjuna did make could have supported Arjuna or his wife or a few relatives or brothers, but not Hanuman with all his power, not even Hanuman alone. What to speak of Hanuman holding rucksacks and backpacks full of mountains? Impossible. So what happened? Because when Arjuna later met Krishna in Dwarka, because he had some meeting he met Hanuman here and there. It was Hanuman's Chiranjeev. So he met Hanuman, and Krishna was holding his head like this. He was a little bit bent. And he was rubbing his neck like this. Krishna had his head bent down, he's rubbing his neck. And Arjuna said, "Oh my Lord, what happened? You slept on the wrong side, or you got a chill when you're sleeping, or your water pillow slipped off your bed or whatever." And he said, "No, actually there was one Arjuna who was boasting to Hanuman about his arrow bridge. And that bridge was about to break, but I had to uphold the word of my devotee. I could not see my devotee embarrassed. I had to come to the rescue of my devotee. So I went there under the water and I held that bridge. And Hanuman was jumping and jumping. It was breaking my back and breaking my neck. He's a strong person, strong personality. But somehow, so please, try to, So this is another beautiful pastime, showing how Krishna saves the face of his devotees. So the idea is that not only did Bhakti True Swami exhibit this power, although he was just thinking it's Krishna's mercy, every devotee thinks it's Krishna's mercy, whatever good things happen to him. But at the same time, Krishna was saving him from embarrassment. Because if he brought in the subject's problem and say, "Where's the Karela? Oh, Guru Maharaj, this morning I forgot it, but I lied to you. But you said that you had it? Yes, I lied to you." So to save his face, to save him, even in that situation, then Krishna came to his aid by providing the Karela right there on the sidewalk in front of Prabhupada's house. Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Ananda Kanda Bhagavan ki. So this is Vrindavan. And this particular point is about the name of the place, Vrindavan. Ulasati Kapa Brinda Vipin Yakya Saranuraga Rasa Kanai Yatra Vasantam Santam Vindati Radha Padara Vindash Dasha. There is an indescribably transcendental storehouse of the mellows of the highest attachment for Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan. A storehouse. That's Kani. Kani means storehouse. Sad Anurag Ras, Vipinyakya, in the forests of Brinda Vipina, right? He goes in those Vipin forests, and he steals our mind with this beauty and this flukeiness.
Yeah, it was.
The Sadanurag Rasakani, Yatra Vasantam Santam, Vindati Radha Padaravindasha. Just by residing there, of Vasant, Santam, one can automatically attain the lotus feet of Radha. Vindati Radha Padaravindasha. Asha, your hope, your asha, your hope against hope to attain Radhapad. Radhapadaravinda, Aravinda, the lotus feet of Radha. Radhapadaravinda, asha, that is the asha of a devotee. Ainanda Tanashikinkaram Patiram Vam Vishame Bhavam Vado Kripayata Parabankajastita Duli Sadrisham Vachintya. So this is the place Vrindavan. This is the verse about the name Vrindavan, the place of Vrindavan. The name of the place named Vrindavan has this power. It is a kani, a rasa kani. What kind of rasa? Anurag. Sneyaman, Pranaya Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav, Anurag. Ever fresh, ever new, ever different, new, charming, unbelievably surprising, moment after moment. This is Anurag. That rag, that attachment that increases and changes in form and shape and taste and experience moment by moment. So much so you can't even recognize your beloved. Oh, who's this Sham? This Sham, you just spent 3 hours in the cave of Govardhan with this Sham, and now you're seeing him on top of Govardhan with the coward boys, and you don't recognize him? No, who is that beautiful boy? This is Anurag. The same person you spent 3 hours with in a cave in conjugal bliss. You see him an hour later with the coward boys, and Lalita says, "There's your Sham, shining like a beautiful, beautiful moon above Govardhan Hill. I mean, beautiful monsoon cloud above Govardhan Hill. Who is that? Who is that dark person? I've never seen him before. What is his name?" This is the Radharani's experience of Anurag. Anurag. Attachment, moment by moment, step by step, second by second, changes, enhances, deepens, increases, expands in surprising and astonishing ways that can't even recognize your beloved. You feel and see as if you've never seen the person or never met the person before. Something ever fresh. We hear the term Nava Yovanam. Well, this is a more specification of that term, ever fresh. It doesn't just mean he's always young and good looking. Which everyone's trying to be, but no one is. No one's either young nor good looking. Keep trying. Just by residing there, one can automatically attain the lotus feet. Santam. Yatra vasantam. Yatra vasantam santam. Vindati radha padara vindasha. Well, we're banking on that. At least we're residing here. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the glories of Vrindavan. Just reside here. Is there any books to describe Mumbai Mahimamrita? Bombay Mahimamrita? Is it Bombay or Lodi Mahimamrita? Noida Mahimamrita? I never heard. I don't think it would sell any copies either. What's glorious about Maya? What's glorious about residing in a smoke-filled, congested, dacoit-filled city?
If you're sitting there, is okay for you?
This is
there, I think
the flood of nectar. This is the same chapter, verse 44. Let's turn to that. 1344. Vrindavan is a flood of nectar. Shri Vrindavana Nama Varna Manoya Purno Rasai Karnava Karna Swadayate Param Charasana Tam Radhika Krishna Yo Nitya Karnana Varnana Tad Angarhat Atmanantabadham Bojo Prema Britama Janataiha Prekshepi Nantyo Dasa. There is a transcendental ocean. Purna Rasaik Arnava. A complete ecstasy, a rasa arnava, rasika, purna rasik arnava. A complete ocean of rasic feelings. Sri Vrindavana Nama Varnam. The syllables of the name Vrindavan. Shri Brindavan Nam Varna. Nam Varna means the syllables, the matras of this name. Shri Brindavan. Vrindavan. What are they? Purna Rasa Arnava. Ek. They're ek. Rasa ek Arnava. Arnava means ocean. Ganarnava. Ocean of qualities. So this Rasa Eka Arnava, it's one ocean of a complete rasa. Just in the syllables. Nanavarnam. Isn't it? There is a transcendental ocean of complete ecstasy connected with the name of Vrindavan. It's all the rasas. All the rasas and complete expression of all the rasas. There's Dasi Ras, completely. No further expression or deeper expression of Dasi Ras than in Vrindavan. Deeper than Ayodhya, deeper than Vaikuntha, deeper than anywhere. And the Sakhi Ras, and the Shanta Ras, and the Vatsali Ras and Madhura Ras. Because anywhere else, Madhura Ras in the entire spiritual firmament only goes to Swakya, not to Parakya. There's no risk there. Sri Radha and Krishna eternally relished that ecstasy, that complete ocean of ecstasy, ocean of ras. Radha and Krishna relish of Purna Rasa Arnava. Purna Rasa Arnava. When? When they hear and talk about Vrindavan. And they do, they wander. Krishna does Van Vihar. He wanders in the forest as Radha. And he starts glorifying. Oh, look at the parrots and look at the birds and Govinda Lila Amrita and Krishna Bhavanamrita. He's saying so many things to glorify this Vrindavan. Look how glorious is this Vrindavan. And he tells Balaram, see, Vrindavan, your footprints are making the land of Vrindavan glorious. The trees are bending down to worship your feet and offer their fruits and flowers for your pleasure. So Krishna loves, in verses of Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Krishna is glorifying Vrindavan. Gopis are glorifying Vrindavan. And the residents, the cows are so fortunate they can drink the liquid nectar of Krishna's flute with their upraised ears like cups. And the deer are so fortunate they can run up to Krishna and lick him with their tongues and gaze at them with their big, moist, soft lotus eyes. And they go there with their husbands in accompaniment. And we're so unfortunate, our husbands lock us up in the house and don't even let us get out. The deer are more fortunate than we. They go together with their husbands. Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. It's bliss. Some of the happiest times I ever had in my life when I was researching a book about appreciating Vrindavan Dham. 20 years ago, 1991 was published. And I was collecting from 1987 to 1991, I was collecting I had so many notebooks of quotations about Vrindavan. I used to share them with my friends. They would come and say, well, let me read this thing about Vrindavan, the cows, the monkeys, the squirrels, this, that. Look what Prabhupada said, look what I found here. Vrindavan Mahimamrita says this. I was reading in 1987, 88. Came out then. I was so much absorbed in appreciating Vrindavan. And I remember because people would come to the rooms and they either they talk Brajapala or I talk Krishna consciousness. So I would talk Krishna consciousness, tell about Prabhupada's glories and pastimes there. And say, well, let me read from my note. And then it became a popular thing. Maharaj, what do you have in your notebook? Read some more things about Vrindavan. So then I read. Then one time someone says, why don't you make a book? Why don't you publish all this in a book? And I said, oh, I don't know. And then I had a dream, and then the chapters came in a dream, and then I wrote the book. The inspiration, the chapter titles of about maybe 14 chapters or so. And then as I worked on it, then logically and consciously I thought, well, if I'm going to produce a book about Vrindavan somehow, then I should write about this and this and that. And the other chapters were cognitively created. So this is, let's finish this now. This Radha and Krishna eternally relish that ecstasy by hearing and talking about Vrindavan. Therefore, it is my conviction that those who have no love for persons who live in the area of Vrindavan, or persons who have no love for those who love the inhabitants of Vrindavan, cannot attain the highest transcendental mellows of ecstatic love. Bojo prema britam ajanata iha prekshipi nantyo rasa. Beautiful verse. Can't really understand all other words. Could get into it, but Karnan swadayate param rasana Radhika Krishna. Radhika Krishna Karna swad. Param, that's pretty easy. You can figure it out by Hindi. Karna, you say nak. Karna swad param. Radhika and Krishna. Rasana means tongue. Rasana. They taste. Their ears they taste. And their tongue it tastes. Their ears and tongues taste a parama rasana. Supreme taste when they glorify this ocean of ras known as Vrindavan. Their ears relish a ras. And their tongue relishes a ras, a rasana. That's the name for the tongue, or to taste, or to relish. Radhika Krishna, Nitya Karnan and Varnan. Beautiful. Sanskrit. So we'll stop there, and then that concludes about the Nam. And tomorrow we'll start a new section, Vrindavan Mahimamrita, the great glories of Vrindavan. All these verses we spoke so far were about the name, Nam Rup Gun Leela, is about the name of Vrindavan, the name and the place known as Vrindavan. And tomorrow we'll talk about the glories of Vrindavan, Vrindavan Mahimamrita. Of course, that's the title of the book also. Sri Vrindavan Mahimamrita Ki. Jai. Vrindavan Mahimamrita, we're reading the glories of Vrindavan. So this is, oh, may I always offer obeisances at the feet of all living entities who reside in Vrindavan. The overwhelming mood of most of these verses is appreciation to the utmost. Appreciation of Vrindavan from the most insignificant pebble on the ground to the significant blade of grass, and to the more significant creeper, and the even more significant bush, and more significant shrub, and more significant tree, and then the more significant squirrel, and then the bird, and then the monkey, and then the cow, and then one by one, and then Jamuna and Govardhan. Total appreciation from the smallest, minutest particle of Vrindavan to the grandest feature of Vrindavan, which is the intimate Kunja Keli of Radha Shyam. This is the basic mood of appreciation. Then this Vrindavan is so great, it's Mahimamrita, like we were saying yesterday. I never heard of a book called New Delhi Mahimamrita or Noida Mahimamrita. But this place is glorious and it's great and has magnificent and Maha glories. Mahimamrita, there's great nectar here, nectarine glories, the land, the place, everything. And his response, it's his appreciation, his gratitude for being here, and his humility, his intense humility that he's manifesting in his words, in his outlook, in his heart, in his feelings. And then, not only that, he wants to show his response to all this input and all these expressions of emotions by simply, I don't know what to do with myself except to collapse on the ground and offer my obeisances to every pebble and every blade of grass and every living entity of Vrindavan, repeatedly, once and again and over, May I always offer obeisances. Sri Brindaranya Satveshu Ahaha Tata Dandavan Me Nati Syat. Nati, the word nati means obeisances, it means humility. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nativi. This word Sankhya goes to each word following it. They chanted so many numbers of Gan, Sankhya Purvaka Nam, so many, first beginning Purvaka. First they chanted so many numbers, Sankhya of Nam, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gan. Then they chanted so many numbers of songs, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nativi. Then they offered so many numbers of Nativis. Nativis means obeisances. And Prabhupada mentions the same point in one word. So this is interesting phrase. He's saying Brindaranya, the Brindaranya Sattve Aha. He says that all those living entities, those eternal living, they're all Sat. Sata. Sata means existence. Sata, the phrase in Gita, Sata, S-A-T-T-A, Sata means existence. So all the existence in the forest of Vrindavan, every living entity, everything that's existing in the forest of Vrindavan, I offer my nati, I offer my obeisances, and what is my bhav, what am I possessing? I'm possessing the mood of a stick. Dandavan, we have Bhagavan, Dandavan. Van means possessing. Van. I mean, it says Dandavan. You ever heard of Dandavats? Dandavats means lie like a stick, offer Dandavats, lie on the ground. So Dandavan means you possess the qualities of a Danda, lying like you're motionless. You have nothing to say. You're just motionless like a stick. You have that. You possess. That's your possession. The qualities of a Danda. Not that you're going to punish anyone or beat up someone, but you have the qualities of a Danda is that you're inert, you're speechless, you're just lying on the ground. Where are you? You're lying like a stick on the ground. Not only are you, because it's one thing, Dandavats Maharaj, Dandavats, sometimes people see me fold their hands, Dandavats. They're standing fully 6 feet tall. They fold their hands and say, Dandavats. If they're Bengali, Dandavat. But that is not Dandavan Nati. And they maybe even offer Dandavats to Thakurji or to Vrindavan or to Sannyasi or Guru. But they're okay, it's an expression of Natibi, they're offering obeisances, humility. But do they possess the quality of a Danda? Dandavan. Is their mind embracing the characteristics and qualities of a Danda? Is it inactive? Is it inert? Is it passive? No, the mind is far from inert. It's quite boisterous and quite active and quite assertive in most cases. So this is a very significant mood that he's having. May I always offer obeisances. Of course, the English is an approximation of the Sanskrit, and with what little knowledge we have, which is practically nothing. It's only some blessings from Prabhupada. I'm putting a few puzzle pieces together and trying to speak something by the mercy of my Guru. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam lange tegrim yaskipadavam vande Srigurum dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam. This is very nice, because what happens when you associate with humble people, you become humble. At least you have a chance. There's a chance some sprinkles of humility can filter through the veneer of pride that surrounds everyone. If the person is humble enough, really super humble, and you associate long enough, even the proudest person will break and break down and even cry. I never cried before, but in your presence somehow I'm crying. This can happen in the presence of a great soul. The hardest man, the most rigid person can break down all his shells, all his psychic and mental shells he's wrapped himself inside of. And moving around the world, everyone's moving around the world like a little Michelin tire man, There's a French tire called Michelin, famous racing tire, and their symbol is a man made of tires. He has 4 or 5 tires for a body, then 4 or 5 tires for arms, and 4 or 5 tires. Like we have stick figures. You have stick figure when you're kids, little lines, straight lines making legs and arms. This is a tire, round man, stick man, round man. That's their symbol, Michelin. Like ISKCON's symbol is I think it's some lotus flower, and then in the middle of the lotus flower says ISKCON or something. You ever seen the kind of the logo? With the original logo. Now maybe they have some kind of centennial thing with peacock or something. But that's, during Prabhupada's time, it was a blossoming lotus flower. In the middle of it, in the middle of the corella, the yellow part of the pink lotus petals, because we often have banners like that. We go on Harinam with these silk banners with red. It was the letters were in blue. ISKCON was in blue, and then the corolla of the lotus flower is yellow, and the petals are red, and the flag itself was like pale blue or something. It was rectangular. Like, you ever seen that symbol? Never seen?
I've seen the symbol, not the flag.
Yeah, that was because when we had Harinam in LA was like the world headquarters for ISKCON, Fate Museum, and all the paintings and all the books and all the layout, everything was done there. Prabhupada spent so much time there. And I remember when I was going to join, I told this story. I was thinking, I was living in Santa Monica on the beach, and LA was quite inland. It's like Bhubaneswar versus Puri or something. Bhubaneswar is quite away from the beach. Or even go to the temple, it's so far from the beach in terms of weather and climate in Puri. So I was thinking, well, I want to surrender, I want to join. Should I go to Hawaii and join there? Or should I join LA? So I told this story so many times, so then I thought, well, if I go to Hawaii, that'll be wonderful. I never went there, but I have so many friends from there. And that surf is great, the weather's great, the fruits are great. It's an ideal place for a fruitarian and a vegetarian, which I was. And papayas is big, and they're all super sweet, and all kinds of lychees are real big, and all kinds of wonderful things. So I was kind of attracted to that proposal to be a Hare Krishna in Hawaii. It's called dovetailing the propensity to enjoy with Krishna's service in there somewhere vaguely snuck in somewhere. But then I thought, where's the last place in my life I'd like to live? Los Angeles. And then where's the last place I'd like to live in Los Angeles? With this part I didn't know. Krishna had more in store for me. The last place I would like to spend 25% of my day is in the Los Angeles airport. 6 to 8 hours a day, every day of the week in the airport. I didn't have a job, I was there willfully to serve my guru selling Bhagavatams and Gitas. So I thought, well, this is really surrender to join here. So let me join the temple. So I joined the temple, and then I found out that the Guru, Prabhupada, spends more time in LA temple than any other temple in the world. Yeah. I thought, wow. I didn't get Krishna's army, but I got Krishna. Like Duryodhana and Arjuna had a race to Dwarka to ask Krishna a favor before the Kurukshetra war, and actually Duryodhana got there first, and he went right to the head of Krishna to ask him to tell his wish. And Arjuna was a little bit behind, and he took his position by Krishna's feet because he didn't want to disturb him. So when Krishna woke up, he looked at his feet, and he saw Arjuna. Oh, Arjuna, you've come. Why you've come? Well, actually, my brother is here first. Duryodhana is next to you. Oh, acha, Duryodhana. Nice, very good. Yes, my lord. Prabhu, I have something to ask. He's very impatient to ask. Impetuous and impatient, Duryodhana. Yes, please. Well, the brothers are about to go to war. As you know, it's not working out. So they're about to go to war, so I would like to beg your help. And then Krishna said, what do you want? He said, you have so many armies and so many soldiers and infantry and chariots. Can I borrow them for a little while? Of course, we may not bring them all back. It may not bring back everything I borrow, maybe minus a few horses, elephants, and chariots, and a few soldiers less, maybe a few million less. But Krishna said, sure, as you like. I'm a king, and you come to beg from me. The king cannot deny someone begs. He's right, waking up first thing in the morning, you wake up. Someone's begging charity, then it's a dharmic principle to give it. So then Arjuna, why you came? They said, I just came to be with you, to see you. If you're with me, that's all I need. So Krishna said, I'm always with you. Don't fear. Have no fear. Krishna is near for those who are dear. Sound familiar? I can quote my own things, you know. I have copyright. If you quote these things, you have to pay 1 rupee. Infringing the benefits. So then I joined LA, and I got the great fortune of meeting Prabhupada and hearing from him and seeing him so many times. And then that second great fortune I got is I got posted in the place I was in a city I couldn't stand to live, and then my service was in the last place in the world I wanted to spend my days in LA, in the LA airport, all day long breathing jet fuel. You may not notice it when you run through an airport, at least LA, and it's so polluted there. The whole airport smells like jet fuel, smoke and jet fuel, which is some kind of, not like gasoline, it's some other kind of, like alcohol or petrol, some funny kind of stuff. Gives you a headache, you know. Like sniffing glue or something, you know, like the kids, they sniff the airplane glue. So but when you surrender to Guru, you're rewarded accordingly. As Krishna says in Gita, he's the original Guru. Surrender to me, I'll lead you to Guru. Surrender to Guru, he'll lead you to me. This is chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 11, I suppose. What is it?
Verse 11 is
Ye tamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyam. Yes. So we surrender to Krishna, then he accepts us and turns us over to Guru. And we surrender to Guru and he accepts us. Back to Krishna. Back home, back to Godhead. He turns us over to Krishna. Hey, Krishna, I got this guy, caught him red-handed. He's your devotee. Now take him back. Acha, you're recommending this guy? Yeah. Nobody else is. I know that. I'm recommending him. All right, come back. So now this text 36 of the same chapter, more about the glories, the Mahimamrita of Vrindavan. Vrindatavi Jayati Kama Gavi Suradru Chintamanin Aganitan Apitucha Yanti Shri Shankara Druhina Mukhya Surrender Vrinda Turgeya Divya Mahimaika Raja Karina. May the abode of Vrindavan be glorified. The transcendental glories of a single particle of its dust minimizes the glories of innumerable Kamadhenu or Surabhi cows. The glories of a single particle of its dust minimizes the glories of desire trees and touchstones. Chintamani, Suradru, Aganitan Avituchayanti, Tuchayanti. Tuchayanti, it sends the glories of the Chintamani stone, Yanti, it sends them, it's like, makes them like Tucha, means like totally insignificant. Tuch, even the word Tuchavat, there's a verse in the Bhagavatam about this desire, this itch of sex desire, in Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Yan Maitunadi Medi Sukami Tuch. Sukami Tucham. He said Tucham. He said even the words Tuch. Tuch is like Tuch. It's like nothing. Tuch means nothing. As an insignificant particle of nothingness. That's Tucha. So it says Chintamani. Vaikuntha is made of Chintamani. Chintamani prakarasat mashakalpa vriksha Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam. Yeah, and it's Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambram. So Chintamani Bhumi, but here there's no Chintamani Bhumi, it's Brajaraj. One particle will give you Radha, another particle will give you Sham, another particle will give you Kunja Lila, Kunja Krita. What more? You have Radha, you have Sham, you have Kunja Krita, the pastimes in the Kunja. What do you need a bunch of Chintamani gems to stumble across? Who wants to walk on a bunch of gems? Vaikuntha is covered with a bunch of gems. It's very uncomfortable to walk bare feet. No, gems aren't polished very well either.
Very good.
But here, Brajaraj, if you ever experienced the real Brajaraj, and it's soft, it's cooling, it's embracing, it's refreshing. I remember, as I told sometimes in 1990, I don't know, 89, 92, so it was like 1990, we did Dandavat Prikrama Vrindavan. In 1990, the whole Vrindavan Prikrama mark by Nandvan or something, that place. Anandvan, all around was dirt. Anandvan was like a 1.5 lane dirt road with all potholes in it. The Prikrama mark. Like this. All you could do is walk on it. And the road the whole thing, all the way by Lalita Ashram and all that whole place up, Lalita Ashram, going around the corner is Lalita Ashram, and you're right in straight. Radhe Sham Dham or whatever, so many apartments or whatever. It's all dirt. It's so refreshing and so nice. And in the inside path, and anyone's ever been on the inside path of Govardhan?
Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Shyam. Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Shyam. Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Jaya Giriraj Maharaj Jaya Giriraj Maharaj. Giriraj Maharaj Jaya Giriraj Maharaj. Giriraj Maharaj. Giriraj Maharaj. Giriraj Maharaj Jaya Giriraj Maharaj. Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev. Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Baladev Jaya Subhadra Prabhu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Devi Samsa Shunyavadi Ashtatari Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Sham Sundalita Vishakha ki, Virajwar Maharaj ki, Nrsimhadeva Bhagwan ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Jai Shila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Swami Srila Krishna Pad, Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj ki, His Holiness Bhakti Ji Damodara Swami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Just wanted to see you. I'm happy and only seeing you, man. Yes, thank you. Thank you, dear. I just like to see you. I only desire just to see.
Yes, you're right.
And seeing you. Sorry, Maharaj. Yes.
Enjoy the view. See you later.
I finish at 1 o'clock. I'll go and see my daughter and then
Is it great, right? I'm always okay.
she fell down. She went to the temple. She fell down. In the new temple. She broke her toe. It's recovering now. She has to do exercise. I go and she's not at home. She's in speaking. My father is leaving next year. It's my father's house. Yes, my mom. So this week I'm leaving. I'm staying here, and next week I will go and come. Yes. Yeah, are you happy? Yes, I'm staying here. Yes, the ground floor is completed, but a bit messy right now. The first and second floor, there is no water, electricity. Not happening. My father is going to meet you. I think you from Jonathan also they will come together. So, yes, yes. Yes, my brother. Who will come and then the also will come. Will come to meet you.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yes. Sorry? Yes, yes. Yes. Yeah, very good. Apa-apa?
But Bhagavatam verse 5:13-27.
5:13 or 5:14?
5:13. 13. 1
5:14. 5:13:1. I'm channel 2 I'm December.
I'm going there. Okay, confirm.
1 5:14:1.
5:10:1.
Which
One is orange, I think the other one is grape.
orange?
It's grape. Green and black, I think mixed up. It's just the season is starting.
It's also punchy, yeah.
I think sour. Yes, me.
Initially,
Was like just linking nicely. One dot, and one dot's linking, then second dot, then third dot, like it starts. Now it is apparently. It's not really like that.
that's interesting.
Because before it was like blinking properly.
Okay, you want to. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much. Delicious,
Divine Lotus feet, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
delicious.
Hare Krishna. Radhe Shyam ki jai.
Hare Krishna, see you later.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, please asema humble obeisance, circular to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you.